Yeah, I'm just working on this Jeep door project that we're doing here. Just making up some pieces for the bottom of this door. Here's what the original pieces look like after they came back from blasting. Yeah, Swiss cheese. Um, they obviously that wasn't going to be good enough, so I went ahead and I broke up a piece of metal. I'll use this as a pointer right here, and it's 20 gauge steel, brand new, fresh 20 gauge steel. And I went ahead and broke that on the sheet metal brake and made it fit real nice across here. And everything's looking really good. I'm gonna go ahead and weld her in. And then there's a couple little, I don't know if you can see them here. There's a couple little, these little pinhole-y rust spots. But I looked at the inside of the door frame and everything, and they're kind of isolated. This was the heavy part. I guess this is where all the moisture sat. So, yeah, you know, these little pinholes and stuff, we'll cut those out, you know, put little pieces of metal in them and stuff. Everything fit pretty good. After I made this piece, I had to adjust it a little and get this gap nice and tight. And I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple tacks on it with the TIG welder and see where we're at. Make sure nothing's moving around too much on us. And if everything looks good, I'll go ahead and weld her in. I got some primer on the back of it. It's a weld through 3M weld through primer. 3M weld through 2. This stuff works really good. It dries fast, which is what I like the best about it, because it lets you kind of keep on rolling. And that's what we like to do. So I'm gonna get this welded in and I'll give you a look at it when it's all finished up. All right, we're all set up for welding here. I'm gonna use silicon bronze because it works really good for sheet metal, and especially this older sheet metal where you don't want to put a lot of heat in it. You don't know where the impurities are and stuff like that. And it'll be a nice solid hold for it. I'll tack it with the silicon bronze, and then if I can weld it with mild steel, I'll do that. If it wants to blow out on me, then I'm gonna just have to switch back to the bronze. It's just as strong. This isn't like a super structural like part of the door. It's just basically to hold the door skin in place. So it should be good for what we're doing. I'm using I think it's a 2% serrated tungsten. I got the Furic cup on here. I like that. It's got a good bit of gas flow. You know, you can put a lot of volume out without a lot of pressure, which is always good for these sheet metal jobs. So we'll go ahead and see if we can put a couple tacks in you. So you're gonna wanna go ahead and turn your gas on anytime you're TIG welding. It did still tack, it's just not very clean. And now we get some gas flow, that'll do it. Oh yeah, that's better. Much better. And one thing I want to do is make sure that this metal is staying aligned with the bottom of the door, which is why I'm using this clamp. I'm just putting extremely light pressure on that just to make sure that it stays perfectly flush. I mean, it's like just enough to kind of hold that down a little bit. I fitted this up really well, so I'm not worried about having a misalignment when I'm clamping her down, but got to keep her in line front to back, or inside to outside, however you like to put it. You see here, this is the way I do my TIG welding. I don't use a foot pedal at all. I can squeeze it with my knees, but this is just a little roll button. I actually set the machine exactly where I want it, and then I don't really have to worry about adjustments about rolling into it. I can but I generally don't, especially when I'm just tacking like this. You know, I can be within 5–10% of where I need to be, and it's fine. So if she starts burning through, I back it up. If it's taking too long to tack, then I increase the heat. Anyways, that's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld this the rest of the way in. It's gonna take a while. You know, just this line with TIGging the silicone bronze, it's pretty time consuming. Plus, you don't want to get it too hot and warp something you don't want to warp. And but yeah, she's looking good. I'll show you what happens when it's all finished. All right, we had to move back to area that wasn't around cars because I was making a few too many sparks, a little too much dust. But yeah, you can see here, got the bottom of this door all looking pretty good. Got a couple pinholes I got to take care of, but she welded up nice. You can't even really, I don't know if you can really even see. Yeah, see the yellow? That's the silicon bronze on there. I got to sand that a little bit better, but I mean, that's nothing that a little bit of primer won't cover up. So I like to do it that way. That way you don't have to spend a lot of time on body work. So trying to make it as easy as possible. It might be me doing the body work on this. I hope not, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes. So got to make it as nice as possible and make it easy on ourselves. So we got to come up with a name for this project because even if you say what it is, people don't know what it is. So I was trying to describe it. I have to show pictures every time somebody asks, but just got some spotty rust patches here. This was right here. I'll add some pictures and whatnot, but the you know, it's rusty on the back, but it's only through in a few places. The rest of it's just kind of surface rust and a little bit of pitting. It was actually blasted, so I don't know how they got the blaster down there, but they did. But maybe it was because it's so rusted out, it kind of got blasted through the rusty parts. But just got a few little patches we're doing here. This is another one. You can see I'm about ready to weld that one in. I just you know, coated it with a little weld through primer on the back and fit it up real nice, and she kind of clicks right in there, which is what you want, just like that. And you can see that lines up really good. And when I go through and weld it, I'll kind of weld it on the corners first and then adjust the edges. Sometimes you have to cut a tack off here or there, but it ends up working out pretty good. I just wanted to talk a little bit about rust prevention when we're doing some of these door repairs. There's a piece here that's covered by this hem piece, and once you put it on, it's not welded or anything, but it's so tight that there's no getting it back off without ruining paint. So we have to pre-treat it and stick it on and then do the body work and everything afterwards. So we don't want it to rust on the inside. I had to make this hem piece. It's got just a slight curve to it, and it's kind of it's a cover. It's mostly aesthetic, but otherwise you see this seam on the outside of the door. We don't want that. I'll show you what it looks like over here on this door. When it's on that gap, you see it kind of clamps over the top. And it's got the curve on the outside, but this one's okay-ish, but you can see it's pretty rusty on the inside there. So getting it off, you actually ruin it getting it off. So got to make a new one. Pretty proud of that piece. It fits really good. I already tested it, but I had to put the POR 15 on it, which is something I use pretty regularly for anything that's going to get covered up and not taken back apart again. Something that, you know, or if maybe the blaster didn't hit the primer quite good enough, I'll smear some of that stuff on there. But you can body work over it and everything like that. It's best on rough metal. It doesn't adhere the greatest on like brand new clean metal like this. So there's some additives you have to put in, and some metal prep and etching chemicals that will help it adhere better. But honestly, once you put that on there, it'll never rust again. So it's a good thing to have. Quick video here, guys. We just got the 1964 Jeep truck, crew cab truck, back from the blaster. It's actually looking pretty good. There's some pinhole rust there, not too bad. A little bit of rust through in the corner there. Not really anything to worry about at all. Got some old school dent repair there going on. Had some rot around the bottom and the back here, no big deal. Up a little up around the windshield there. Other side's a little worse, but overall I'm pretty satisfied with the way this turned out. This is an epoxy primer. They ran out of gray, so they did it in white. I think it looks pretty cool. Looks like something a stormtrooper would drive around, maybe. That's the worst spot there. That one was crushed and rusted through. We knew that going in. This rocker's got quite a bit of rust going on with it too. So, but honestly, pretty solid all the way around. I no real surprises. You know, a few things that are. I mean, it's kind of all single wall metal, so like you pretty much know looking at it what it is. So, real happy with the way it turned out. Hey guys, just continuing to work on the M677 crew cab over Jeep project. So got her up on the rotisserie here in the shop. I've been working on the doors while this cab was being finished up at the Media Blaster. It's back now. Got her in the shop here. You can see some of the rustier areas. I went ahead and put this door on. It doesn't have the latch in it, that's why it's sitting so far in. But I needed to set this edge, and this is not attached. This bottom edge is not attached. But as I do the metal work on this rocker, I wanted a reference from the door to get it back to where it needs to be. This is the worst of it, really. Probably the worst spot is this spot right here, because not only does it have a curve that way, it's got a curve that way. There's a big dent in it. It's rusty, it's been smashed, but in the end, it's just got to look like the one on the other side. Somebody did a little repair there too, where they welded up some of it. I'm going to take that back out, put the body line back in it. I finished up this door, well, I guess yesterday. I still got a little work to do on the bottom of it, but did some repair panels there, made the hem, got that put in there, just treated it with the Pour 15 you can see inside of there. So I got that back on there. Had to do a few things. It's hard to see, but there's a little crease in there that's gonna have to come out. Some previous repair work and stuff. Nothing too serious, but overall, she's coming right along. And it looks good. Looks like it's in turn 2 at Daytona or something. She's all leaned over, making left-hand turns. This is NASCAR country, so kind of looks funny. But yeah, moving along on it. And so we are doing metal work. So have been doing metal work. Got a ton of metal work in this thing already. It's all been on the doors. So I have a ton of pictures of the doors and stuff. So, I've been working on these doors for a while. I got to take care of some of those holes and stuff up there. The rust is pretty much done on them. I did this rear door, got a bunch of rust out of it. The rust, a lot of it's on the inside, so it's like the bottom pieces. I'll put some pictures up, kind of a montage of the rust repair. Got this other door on here. It's looking really good. I had to basically replace the entire bottom edge of this door, right? Like this was gone. And the inside was gone too. So this was all, that was all rusted out. It was gone. There was nothing there. Like just enough to kind of make shapes off of and stuff. There's still some cleanup, little fluff and buff I got to do, but you know, this bottom of this door was just absent. So I made some pieces. I got some pictures of that along the way. It's kind of hard to do videos of the metalwork because it's just over and over. Just cut a piece, make a piece, weld a piece, grind a piece. I mean, it's extremely tedious, but that's what you got to do to make this stuff happen. So it is what it is. I think that piece turned out pretty good. I'm gonna have to adjust this door gap on the front here. I actually think the whole door needs to slide forward, but the hinges don't do that at the top. It's weird how they're mounted to the door. So we'll see. We'll see what we can do there, but I'm sure we can figure out something. But if not, we'll just make a new edge and make it fit the way we want it to. So it's just kind of on there with a couple bolts right now, but it's looking good, you know. I'm gonna work on that door that's sitting under the bench there for the other side. I can't put this back door on quite yet because the hinge was broken for it. Like it was snapped in half. I think I actually put it in here. Hold on. Yeah. So the pin was sheared in half. So like these two were supposed to go like that, but it was not connected. And I had to drill this out and beat the pin out of it, heat it up. I mean, it was everything I could do to get that out. The problem I'm having is that these are like a strange size pin. They're not like, I don't really want to rebush these. I don't have good luck rebushing hinges in a way that is 100% like they go back together exactly how they're supposed to be. Like I can drill them, I can put the bushings in, I can put the pin in, and then it'll just be a little bit off, or it'll have just a little bit of slop. And these are pretty specific. I'll do that if I can't find the right pins for these. The normal pins are like 5/16, and these are like 9/32, I guess it would be. Yeah, 9/32, I think. So it's just a matter. I mean, I could stick a couple pins in the lathe and turn them down or whatever, but the spline is hard to put back in at the knurl. So we're just gonna do what we gotta do on that one. So nothing too serious. Just a matter of figuring it out so I can hang this door back up here. And I got that other door hung in there. Just I got it with a bungee strap so it doesn't flop open because this rotisserie moves really easy, as you can see. She moves real nice. But it's locked in. It's just a little sloppy. So if I was gonna work on this rotisserie, I would probably put the body on jack stands, which I'll do eventually because when doing the door gaps and everything, just got to make it all fit. So yeah, it's all looking good, coming right along. You know, I gotta fix this corner. You know, that's nice. You can get behind all this, so it's not too bad. But there's some rust on the top. I'll flip this thing on its side and, you know, fix those edges up and things like that. So you can see there's some other kind of rusty areas, but we'll get into all this pretty soon. I just wanted to kind of give an update. You know, this thing actually looks pretty good, and you know, this corner is the worst of it, so no big deal. But all right, I'm gonna carry on and keep going with the doors and whatnot, and we'll just we'll see where we end up. One thing I did forget to mention is that this door has a big old wallop in it. You can see the outside is really deformed. So the problem is there's a big old brace that goes on the inside of this. It's actually what this is pinch welded to. And you can't move the outside skin when that's in the way. And also it's bent. Like, I think it's just like the mirror got hit or something, but yeah, I'm not sure what happened. But I think what we're gonna actually end up doing is taking this inner door skin off. It's just spot welded all the way around. So once we take that off, and we're gonna do it without ruining the thing, we should be able to move or take that brace out that's inside of there and then move the door skin to where we want it, get it all, you know, into the right shape, and then slide this back on and weld it back on, and we should be good then. It's also I gotta fix the rust at the bottom anyways, so I wanted to make sure I could fix the door skin before I fix the outside of the rust, because if we end up getting another door or something. But doors aren't really available for these, obviously. Yeah, so we'll do what we got to do. I'll end up putting the window frame and the vent window back in it just to make sure everything lines up. There's some repair we got to do where this got blowed out, and that's what supports the whole window. So the window is just flopping around, so we'll have to weld all that up anyway. So there's a good bit of work to do on this door in particular. So we'll get after that and get her all smacked out, make it look pretty again. All right, so got this inner panel taken off. You can see here, when I do these, I use this this cutter tool that I got. You know, it's these rotobroach cutter tools are really handy. So this is like a, you can do it. There you go. Oh, you can do it. Anyway, this rotobroach cutting tool. This is a 3/8. It says 3/8 on it. See it there? Perfect focus. Yeah, so the way I do it is I drill the 1/8 inch hole right in the middle of the spot weld, and then I put this in and I go through until I see rust, right? So it'll spit a little bit of rust out at you, and that's where you want to stop. Because otherwise, you're going to have massive holes. So instead of having an 1/8 inch hole on the inside, you'll have like a, you know, a big hole on the, you know, and you don't want to have to fill that hole back in and do a ton of welding when we're going to put it back on. Now, if we were replacing the piece underneath, you know, it wouldn't matter. But since we're not, I mean, we're just trying to put this back the way we found it. We want to not go through all the way. If you do go through, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, so like, you see this thing's pretty flimsy, but we'll get her back. I had to grind the heads off those bolts, and once I get this off, I'll take the hinge out, and then I'll extract those by welding a nut to the top of them instead of that crazy screw piece. And then I did have to cut this, and you know, I made sure to cut that in a straight line so I can weld it right back the way it was. You know, I'll leave the thickness of the cutoff wheel when I weld it back up to give that spacing the correctness. But I'm gonna go ahead and pop this off and see what we got. Should come right off. Oh, I forgot to pop this little guy right here. So I'll pop that, get this. So taking a little break here just to show you this tool that I got. I bought this a long time ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago. And it's just a little portable English wheel is what it is. It was used in racing, like back in the day when the cars actually had like curves and metal fenders, and you got a ding in it and you wanted to straighten it out there at the track, or maybe you had to adjust the sheet metal a little bit to get it through inspection. So all the teams would have one of these. There was a place going out of business a while back, and I bought this from them. I've used it a handful of times. It does come in pretty handy sometimes. So I've gotten most of the dent out. There's a pretty big whoopty right there, but this is all looking pretty decent. I got to get this to kind of come up a little bit. So this thing it's rounded on, this die is round and this die is flat, and that's just how an English wheel works. And then you could set the tension by turning this, so you can put more or less tension on it. And it's neat for, you know, small stuff. Normally I would mount this in a vise and then push the door back and forth over it, but this door is a little bit big for that. So getting this door all sorted out, getting it well sorted. I went ahead and did the pour 15 inside the door there. Got that all looking really good. There was a couple of spots I needed to finish up. I just mocked this up to get these angles sitting in here right. Oh, it looks really good. I finished doing the flanges on the bottom of this door here. When this all goes back together, it straightens out, but this thing's kind of a potato chip right now. But once you put it down and where it's supposed to be and it hooks all in, it actually looks really good. I'm about to take it off and do some more work around the edges and get this thing ready to put back together. But yeah, it's looking, like I said, well protected on the inside now, which is great. So taking a look at this door here, I did a little more work on the outside, got these angles a little better. it's going to be pretty good. Like, it was a real pain to get this thing back into shape, and you can only do so much before you go too far. Some of it doesn't matter. The little bumps and nicks and stuff is all going to get covered up with filler work and stuff. But we could spend days and days and days on this thing. But honestly, it turned out pretty good. I did the backside too here. I welded this piece back in, and that's looking really good. Like, that thing had a big old wallop in it, and it just wasn't anywhere near where it needed to be. So got her straightened out, got her welded back in there, had to cut a few little things, gonna make some adjustments and put it back together. I won't actually put the outside of the door panel back on until I get this, like, I'll get all the window regulator and everything put in there and make sure all that stuff clears. I'll put a window in it, just because it's so easy to mess up that spacing, even though we've got a nice little standoff here that we can weld that back onto, to the point where your windows don't work at all. So we want to give them plenty of space, but just enough space so that the glass, the whiskers, the glass run channel felts things, they slide on the glass nice and don't let a bunch of crap fall down into the doors. So it's pretty critical stuff there, but it's one of those things that if you don't do it now, you will never know about it until you go to put it together. And then I've seen it before where, when people do door skins and stuff, they put it together and they don't think much about it. And then they go to put like a vent window in, and it's already painted and the vent window won't go in, and they end up having to move the metal after it's already been painted. And it's just not anything you ever want to be a part of unless you've got a body shop handy that can fix all the paint that you blow off the door. So try to get as much of this sorted out before we do any of that. So keep everybody happy. So a little different angle on this dent repair. See how straight that is. You see I had to do a lot of work in here. It's kind of shiny right now, but from the 415 I put on there. But yeah, like, there's a lot of time, like, doing small stuff. Like, I had to do this piece here because it was rotted through. And it's just like, it gives you time to think about, like, the history of, like, this vehicle. I don't want to wax poetic or anything. It's like that mirror that got smashed in on this truck, like on this side, like somebody was driving this thing, smashed that mirror in, dented, just creased the absolute crap out of the door, and either wouldn't do something about it, fix it, tell somebody back when parts were actually available for this, maybe when you could get a door or a door skin, or grab a door off of another military vehicle, which is pretty common, and then order one and then it never shows up because it's the Marine Corps. But yeah, if it was one of you devil dogs that smashed this, I think you owe me a beer, or 2 or 10. So if you were in Camp Lejeune in 1964, 65, and you were driving this thing and you smashed the mirror on it, you owe me a drink. It was probably an operator. I don't know if they had 3521s back then, but that's some operator stuff. Or, maybe somebody got a little tipsy, decided to take this thing out in the town. I don't know. That happens. But, yeah. Don't worry. I took care of it. But, man, that was a lot of work.